corral.
You good, Marty, you
I had somebody once make a comment that this was sort of overkill. And then I remember, if you remember Sam Rayburn when he was Speaker of the House,
You really hammered.
he had not a gavel, he had this mallet that he would use. So I'm thinking I'm quite,
Remember that.
this is appropriate. Is everybody in order? I know, but that's Elton's job. Elton's job is to look embarrassed and hurry up and sit down so that the other people will go, at least, you know, I wasn't.
When I sit down, you know everybody else is already down.
Okay, well, you gotta wait a minute, 'cause we're waiting. Ready? Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this is meeting number 205 of TCG in the Mac Group. I've been told by our membership chair, Mr. Kirker, that we do not have any visitors today, so you don't have to be on your good behavior. Oh, let's see. Let's roll through our normal process of business. Has anybody got any news they wish to share with the other fellows? Going once, going twice. Well, I do. We have a new Apple Solutions consultant. You know what an ASC is? Okay. ASCs are the people that Apple puts in stores like Best Buy and sometimes Target. And I've heard they may start having them at Walmart. So Brad Bodie got a promotion, the fellow that used to cover the Best Buy over by the Dayton Mall. So we have a new fella, his name is Jeff Turner. I have not met him yet, I have not contacted him yet, but we'll make sure that he knows about us and that he's welcome to come in and visit us.
Jeff or Jeff?
Jeff. Jeff Turner. And the email I've got for him, I don't want to give it out yet because I got to verify that I've got it correct.
He's at Best Buy.
Best Buy, over at the Dayton Mall.
What's his job?
The Best Buy up by Fairfield Commons.
Apple sales consultant.
Nick Donofrio, who's used to be our ASC, who got a promotion, he covers that occasionally. All right, let's see. Since the last time we met, we had an update to Snow Leopard. So the current version of Snow Leopard is now 10.6.5. They had some fixes in there, not just security, but there were some fixes in there. I'm trying to think of what else, if anything. Anybody else got any news of what's been going on?
Do you recommend that we update to 10?
I'm wondering about iWork 11. Is that an update or is that
Okay.
new?
Question from the floor about iWork 11. First, let me make it correct. iWork is still at the same version 09. iLife is now at 11. That is a new product. You buy it if you want it, and the price is, Mr. Ratchford, is it $50 for iLife now?
I believe it is.
Yeah, because when I looked to see what they were charging, I figured it was going to be the usual $79.99. No, they dropped it down to $49.99.
Did you get the new one?
Family pack price, I don't know. I'm going to say probably. We'll find out.
74.
Does anybody know if it's got any new great things that makes it worth the extra?
It does in iMovie. It does in iMovie.
In iMovie?
Yeah.
Much better.
Yes.
Does iPhoto increase the quantity of photos?
iPhoto does not increase the quantity of photos, but they have increased the quantity of photos that it can handle in its database.
Because I know it used to be 25,000.
And then iLife 09, they upped it to 35, and now it's supposedly up to 50. Aperture, they upped to 100,000 photos it can handle. All right, so the question was, if you buy a family pack of iLife, what does it cost? A family pack means that you're allowed to install it on 5 machines instead of just 1 machine. And we'll wait for that to come up, and I'll have an answer for you.
Bill,
Yeah,
those 5 machines are supposed to be in your household, though, aren't they?
correct. So you're talking about, hello, come on. So family pack is meant for a family. It's not meant for a small business. It's not meant for a nonprofit organization.
Your kid can
It's
be in
meant
school.
for, you've got a family group. I did have a Apple marketing person tell me that it was meant to be, it's okay if it's extended family. So if it's, father, kids, grandparents, that's okay.
Family pack 79
$79.99
instead of 99. Instead of 99.
instead of
They
90.
used to be 99 instead.
Okay. Just close that.
Okay.
Okay.
I found out, because I'm going over and get the iLife 11,
Yes.
that at Mac Depot today, they give you a $10 discount.
Okay. Did you hear what he said?
Nope.
Mac Depot today. If you go over to Mac Depot today, they'll give you a $10 discount on iLife, which means you could get it for $39 instead of $49. Oh, we have a, okay.
Mac Town.
All right, I got to stop. I got to rewind. Normally, we start with welcome, where we welcome new guests or members. We have a new member. I just got handed his application. Jim's going to hate me for this. Jim, just stand up for a minute and introduce yourself to the group. Oh, he's not.
About
At the
time.
break, say hello to Jim.
About time, Jim.
Okay. That's Jim Board, new member. I knew eventually I'd get you. That's okay, we like disruptive members. Just, I figured you'd try us for maybe 5 or 6 years, eventually I'd, okay. Tim's a good guy, I know him from the Apple II days.
So now you've dated it.
No, Jim dated himself. Okay, any case, Mac Depot today, $10 off on iLife. And who was it that told us that? That was,
Mac Depot.
okay, Mac Depot.
Town.
Mac Depot. Did I get it right? Okay.
I think MacTown also is offering a $10 coupon if you go onto their
Expired the
website.
9th, I believe.
I'm sorry?
That expired the 9th, I believe, unless they put a new one.
I just used one the other
They've got a
day. Unless
series
they
of
might have.
promotions.
Yeah.
The best way to find out is go out to the Mac Depot or MacTown websites. They're both doing a 12 days of Christmas sale. They've got different items that they're emphasizing in their marketing. Okay, was that even handed? I got it.
Yep.
Okay, good, good. And of course, you always have your Apple store down in Cincinnati if you want to take a little drive. Okay, any other items that people want to add to news? Going once, going twice. Okay, so we're going to go to the next thing. Do we have anybody with equipment that they're looking for or they want to sell? Okay, we'll go in the back corner first.
I can't say this is Santa's sleigh, but I've got lots of goodies in my bag over here. So if anybody needs some I got a router and a wireless access point with antenna and a ADC KVM switch.
Okay.
So
So what I would recommend, see him at the break, and then we'll get you a spot over on the raffle table, because we'll be done with raffle by then, and then you got some space to play out this stuff. Anybody, okay, Mr. Howe.
I've got some Asante switches here, Ethernet. They're 10100. They're not gigabit, and $10 a piece. If anybody needs them, they're 8-port.
Okay. He's got a couple of those, and what about you?
This is something I'm not selling. Strong.
Okay. And how about the bag?
Oh, that's just carrying
Bag,
my stuff.
laptop?
Yeah.
That's a good looking jacket too.
All right, so we got the Sony routers up here.
Now those are for sale.
All right, well, stand up and show it then.
It's
It's for a
for the
nonprofit.
nonprofit Bridge Riding for the Disabled jackets. We can take orders. If we get enough quantity, we can order you some. Come in brown and
I was only
burgundy.
What's the discount?
Kid around here too much.
Again, if you have a business or a nonprofit group and you're looking for something that'd be appropriate to hand out to customers, or you're going to do trade shows, that sort of stuff, see Mr. Howe. I just happen to know the company he's associated with does that kind of stuff. Okay? Yeah, for a couple of years I've been doing that.
So when are we going to have the next?
Yeah.
Well, we can do Mac Group on here.
We did macro. Oh, give me a suggestion. Okay?
You've heard
Send us email, send them to Mr. Kurtman. Send ideas to Mr. Kurtman. I've been told,
Pilot
I've been
did that too,
told
didn't he,
very
once?
firmly by our council members that I don't delegate enough. That I don't delegate enough, so I'm gonna try and be a better person. Okay, so let's get back on track here. So we've got, anybody else with items that they're looking for or that they currently have that they want to unload? Going once, going
Well, I
twice?
think I have a question about that.
Okay, go ahead.
I know that you're doing the recycling program today,
Yes.
but I didn't wait because I didn't know, and I kind of like demolished my computers.
Yeah.
Well, it's ready
But
to
then we
dispose
got
of.
these things that I think they're hard drive. I don't know if they're. You buy them in stores to put more memory in your car.
Okay, it would be called RAM. Random Access Memory, either SIMS or DIMMs. SIMMS, single inline memory modules or dual inline memory
Yeah, I
modules.
got connectors along the car.
Well, they look like little teeth on the bottom, and they're green and stuff like that. Okay, go ahead.
Are those something I should say that somebody can use?
They're really nice. If you know somebody that does jewelry and that, they make great tie tags, tie bars or earrings.
I thought they bought them at stores to put more memory in their.
Depends on how old the machine is, what they came out of.
They're all different.
They're not interchangeable.
Yeah,
If it's from a really old machine, probably not much more.
recycle those two.
Plus, the other thing is, remember that that actually is a circuit board,
Yeah.
and so there are chemicals that are used to make a circuit board that you can't just throw them in the trash. If you're not going to use them for the jewelry or the other stuff, or you can't find somebody that can use it in their computer, then you really do need to take it to a recycling place.
And they take them even if they're in
Yes.
a million pieces?
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Okay.
Okay? And just a reminder, Bonnie still is collecting used printer cartridges, toner cartridges that she uses to help fund her daycare. So, if you've got those used cartridges, collect them, bring them. If Bonnie's not here, I'll get them. And I'll put them in my basement and forget to give them to Bonnie.
Old cell phones, too.
Oh, and old cell phones. Okay. Send me a reminder every so often. So,
You're doing very well.
okay, I'm doing okay.
What about old phones with NiCad batteries? You don't just
She
throw in the
says
trash
cell
can?
phones. You're talking about cordless
Talking about
phones?
cordless home phones.
That you want to
Updated.
recycle, and when I'm doing the thing about recycle, I'll tell you what good will take. Okay. All right. So, yes, go ahead, Chuck.
I'm kind of interested in seeing if somebody has a 10.4 system disk that I could get my hands on.
I've got one, not with me.
Got my email or?
I'll give you mine, I'll give you yours.
Okay. Anybody else? Going once, going twice? Okay, good. Did anybody have any problems this month? We're going to move on to help desk. We'll start in the back.
My new desktop that I bought earlier this year. For some reason this past week, when I'm trying to look on my email, Earthlink says they want a password, and I don't understand why. I've never had to do it before.
Okay. And you use the Apple Mail program to collect your email? Okay.
Is it Earthlink or is it a keychain?
It's through Earthlink.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a keychain issue. Sometimes it's an issue where Apple Mail, some of its settings have gone caboose, and you need to reset stuff. All right, so I've got, just ignore the email, the content of the emails, but this is an Apple Mail program. So you would be going to your first menu next to the Apple, you'd select preferences. Yeah, wait for her to catch up. Okay. Once you're here, the thing that's on the top of this window that says General, those icons, those are called tabs. I know, they don't look like tabs. You want to click on Accounts. Then you want to, in this sidebar, you want to click on the account that's asking you for the password. So in this case, we'll just, we'll stick with the MobileMe one. So in here, you've got the information for the incoming mail server. So that's the name of the incoming mail server, the username for the person, and then where they would put in their password. Okay, that's one usually is stable, doesn't disappear. But there's a second place to put it in. Because when you're doing email, you have two servers that you deal with, incoming and outgoing. So down here where it says outgoing mail server, and we've got a list in here, we're going to go in where that double arrow up and down is. Click on that, and at the bottom here, it's got a space where it says edit the list. You with me, Kathy, or do I? Okay. So then you click on that. It's going to show you the SMT's outgoing servers. You click on the one that you're talking about, and then you click on Advanced. And there's a second place for that password to be. That's the one that usually goes poof for some reason.
In my Earthlink, I'm using, I have none selected. It's still functioning.
Incoming and outgoing? So that means it's choosing another SMTP server for it? You got more than one account?
Not with Earthlink, no. Just doesn't want
Okay, because what Apple Mail will do is, if you want to send an email and it can't use the outgoing server for that particular account, it'll try and use one of the other outgoing accounts to send it.
I can get things confused pretty fast.
Yeah.
That was just
Okay? Okay. Now, but it brings up another thing. Do you have your passwords somewhere documented? Okay. And typically you want to have them documented not just in an electronic file, but you want to have them written down somewhere. So if anything bad happens to the hard drive or a setting, you still got them. I myself have an envelope where I put this stuff in, and then I put it in the fire chest. The other reason to have those sorts of passwords documented is in case you die and your spouse or significant others need to get into your Facebook account and that sort of stuff. These social network sites, they're not too open to letting people in just because they say you died. So I had a problem with one of my nephews that got killed. So fortunately, his brother knew his password. So after the parents went around for about 3 months with Facebook trying to get in, brother said, "Oh, I know what it is." They took care of it. So you don't want to be in that situation.
On in this email,
Yeah.
how do you get rid of that left-hand side to have your whole screen the mail? You know, I'm sure there was a way you told me years ago.
Okay. I can go to my View menu and say Hide Mailboxes.
View.
View menu, hide or show mailboxes. Or one of the things that I do, because I don't remember the menu commands, so what I do is, not on this machine, but I'll have my main machine at home. I'll go to View, say Customize Toolbar, and one of the little buttons that you can put up there is Mailboxes. You click it, it hides it. You click it again, it shows it. So if I wanted to add that button to my toolbar, say I put it up here. and I click done. So now I've added a new button up here, mailboxes. Click it, they hide. Click it again, they show.
Oh,
'Cause there's so many menu bars,
I know, there's too many.
and then I'm dealing with a couple different operating systems. And then Microsoft, every time Microsoft comes out with a new version of Office, they always move stuff. So somehow I managed to keep up, just barely. Okay, any other problems people had? Let's go to Kathy, and then we're going to go to John.
I've talked to Mark Jordan about this. I cannot get Firefox to work on my computer anymore.
Okay.
I've tried it, I've dumped it all off, I've tried to reset it, and at one time I told him, I said, oh, it looks like it's working. Well, I tried to play a game, and I couldn't do it. I needed the Flash, whatever, Adobe Flash. I put that on it, crashed. I cannot do Firefox on the machine anymore.
Okay. So first thing I would ask is this. What kind of Mac is it? Is it a, iMac Beach Ball with the shaving mirror screen?
It's got the screen.
Okay, so it's a regular, one of the iMacs, sort of white case or metal case? Just so I'm getting an idea. Okay, white. So that means you're probably running either Tiger or... You got Snow Leopard. Okay, so it's an Intel iMac.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when this happened is when I tried to upgrade the latest Firefox. And
Okay.
I've been crashing ever since.
So that would tell me that your preferences for Firefox probably went kapoots.
Okay.
Now, do you have a second account on your iMac where you can log in as a different person and try things?
No,
Okay.
that one.
So step one would be go to your system preferences. You want to click on accounts. Okay, so we're in accounts. You're going to click on your padlock to authenticate. It's going to ask you for your password. And then you're going to click the plus. And you're going to create another user account on the machine. This is a standard thing that you should have on your machines for troubleshooting purposes. Because this will tell us whether it's something in your user account that's causing the problem or something that's at the application or system level. So then you would click create that account. Usually what I do, if my main account is Bill Herrick, the other one I'll make it admin, or I'll make it Bill Herrick 2. Use the same password that you use on your regular account, because that way you won't forget what the password is. Okay.
What's the difference between sharing? You got a guest account up there, sharing only, and I happen to have that as my other one other than admin. Is that the one you can use?
Guest account is a pre-defined account in Leopard and Snow Leopard. If you turn the guest account on, it means that someone can log in as guest, they can use the machine, but when they finish and log out, their home folder goes poof, gets deleted.
So it's not the one you're talking about for her setting up an extra?
No.
Set up
She'd
an
be
extra
setting
account.
up an account like, I've got one here, admin.
Oh, set up another admin?
Right.
If I've got one admin already and I have a sharing, I need another
Right,
admin?
second admin account, because you want it to have, be able to, control the machine completely. All right, so then you would log out of your user account if you created admin, log in as the other thing, okay, and then launch Firefox and see if it works. If it does, then it's something that's hooched in your user folder, and at that point, you and I'll give you some other tools that you can use to clean stuff out. Yes, Chuck?
On this computer here, I've got a Clam AV account that I can't delete. It's not in the list there where I can hit the negative sign.
Okay. And it shows up
But the
on your
user
login
directory's still
screen?
there?
The only time it comes up is when you initially log on. Or you
Still
log.
in the NetInfo database. Oh wait, no, it's a newer machine. You don't have a NetInfo.
No, this is G4.
Oh, it is. So you do have a is it on 10.4?
Yes, this is 10.4.
Okay, then you probably have a stray, there's probably a stray entry in the net info database.
Net,
Net info database. You get to it from the, what's that utility called? Net info
Directory,
Net info man.
it's directory something in your utilities.
Directory access? No, not directory access.
Directory services, directory.
You got the machine here?
yeah,
May I make a suggestion that at the break you have Don look at the,
Yeah, because there's no net info database after 10.4.
yeah. Because, you
They-
know,
they
I'm
dropped
using
it.
software and equipment made in this century, and Don, of course, is working for the Dayton Daily News.
They eliminated the beastly, evil net info database after 10.4.
Yeah.
just
Which was-
because
which
I
was
have
a wonderful
computers
move.
that span both
Yes.
industries.
Yes. This is what, to span means to have pain. Okay. All right, anybody else? Going once, going twice? Okay. No, I said John. I said John next, and then we'll come from. Okay, John.
Smartphone, couple of questions. I bought a Touch Pro 2 HTC that makes equivalent of an iPhone, but I didn't want to be on the telephone system here in the States. And because it's a DOS-based operating system, I'm looking to see if anybody else has an HTC smartphone and has found out what software you need.
Just to repeat it. What's the model of the HTC?
Touch Pro 2.
Okay, he's got an HTC smartphone, Touch Pro 2, running Windows CE. Okay? And he wants to be able to synchronize stuff with his Mac side, if at all possible. Okay, and the only one I can think of is the,
Oh, hold on a sec. HTC Sync Mac. Press return, let's see what it comes up with.
there's a Folio Sync, I believe. If you go to the CNET site, there's a Folio Sync. There's also another thing that's iSync Preps. But the one that I know people have good luck with is the one that, Ray, you were using with your Trio. That's Missing Sync?
Yeah.
Missing Sync, and it would be for Windows, right? Instead of Trio? Because there's one for the Palm and then there's one for the Windows.
Yeah, I was using it for the Palm.
Yeah, so Missing Sync. Okay?
Okay. Next question, since I don't use an iPhone, do people download apps to their basic computer that are developed for an OS but not for a DOS system?
You got any iPhone users here today?
iPhone?
Okay.
You download the apps to your computer and then they're transferred to your iPhone. But they have to be connected and, you know.
But you can do it the other way.
No, yeah, you don't have to do it the other way.
Either directly to the phone
Or you can download it. If you're using your web browser.
I won't be able to put it on my smartphone, but I want to put some of the apps on my computer.
They won't run on.
Oh, no.
No.
They're running on the iPhone.
Specific for.
John, the only way you're going to be able to run those iPhone apps on your computer is if you have the software development package from Apple, and they're pretty careful to keep that in. You got to become a registered developer.
What is it again? You got a Touch Pro 2?
Yeah, he's got Touch Pro 2, HTC.
There is a program called SyncMate from Elantra that syncs Macs and with each other and
Okay, and that's, spell it out, please. SYNCMATE.
Yes, and the
How's Elantra spelled?
Eltima. I'm sorry, ELT. I'm sorry, ELTIMA.com.
LCI.
ELT.
ELT.
CLT.com.
E as in Edward. Write it down and hand him a card.
Yeah, write it
It's like
down.
Elton.
This isn't gonna work.
I like Elton, yeah.
Yeah, come see me.
Come
Yeah,
see him at the
I've
park.
used it with my Nokia phone, and it syncs that everything with that.
Does it work with LG?
LG.
Accolade. It's not a smartphone, but it is,
LG.
yeah, just look
Retina,
at Accolade.
InTouch Max.
No,
No.
because right now, to sync my phone, I have to have Windows, and then I sync it with Outlook on Windows, and then it does to Google, and then Google comes back to the Mac. I feel dirty every time I sync. All right, anybody else going once? Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, now this shouldn't take
Yeah.
too long. I want to change from the FBC to WOA, cable, or cable.
Okay,
All my mailing accounts, bank accounts, everything is under SBC, my name is SBC,
okay.
cable.net. But I want to change, and am I going to lose all of my bank account information and everything? I did put in as a sub-name under one under Yahoo,
Mhm.
but I didn't know.
Okay, let me see if I understand.
Yeah, I don't explain.
Okay, all right. All right, Marilyn, are we talking about the bank sends you an email monthly? Or are we talking about when you go to the bank, you're logging in using a web browser?
Right, using the web browser. Get into
Using
my
a
bank
web
account.
browser?
And your
Okay.
email address is your username. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Unless it has to be an email.
okay. Yeah, what I'm guessing here is, first of all, what I would do is which bank is this?
Huntington.
Huntington, okay. I would talk to the folks at Huntington to verify what I'm about to say, okay? But what I'm going to say is this. They currently had, when you asked for a username to be able to log into that web account, you used your email address because that was something you would remember. And then you put a password with it, okay? When you change your email services, so you're switching to Roadrunner from whatever, that doesn't change how you're set up with the bank in terms of your web browser, okay? So at some point, what you might want to do is change your username to reflect that, the new email.
I mean, but I wouldn't, having an account with Yahoo wouldn't save all my addresses and.
Oh, in terms of bookmarks,
Yeah.
your favorites?
Your contact list, all the addresses you
Yeah,
saved?
you have to contact all of them.
Yeah. So what you would do is, okay, if we're talking about your favorites, your bookmarks that are on your computer,
Right.
in your web browser, no, it's not going to change those. But currently you have a Yahoo account with, SBC,
Right.
right? There's an address book up there. You want to make sure that any of that information, that you've got a copy of it before you pull the plug on it.
Okay. So you
Okay.
can type them.
Right, because right now you have a paid account with them. Once you switch your internet service provider, now you don't have a paid account with them. So sometimes they clear stuff away. Okay?
Actually, if you're worried about your contact list that you've saved with your SBC email account, you can export all that stuff from your Yahoo account, and then you should be able to import it into your new account.
The stuff I did, what was it, 2 months ago?
Does that help you?
Cloning,
Yeah, yeah.
syncing your contact and email information between.
Yeah, and I've missed a couple of them.
Yeah,
But
okay.
on the website, can't you get the presentation from our website?
Yeah, there's a help.
Oh.
There's a help. You either look for the word help or you look for a circle with a question mark in it. Okay?
I've never gotten on my website.
Okay. You're talking about our website? No, I'm talking about the Yahoo website.
Oh, okay.
Okay, your main page on Yahoo.
But aren't our presentations on the TMG website?
I save them out as PDFs and when somebody asks for it, I email it to them. Okay, so you want that one about collect, okay.
Email.
Note to do.
Let's see how long you live.
Okay, give me just a sec here.
See how long his list of to-do is.
All right, just do a note. Handle. Got it. It's in my email system. This way I remember it. Okay. I think it's time for wrap unless we have somebody else with that had a problem. Okay.
I can,
I guess I'm gonna forget.
Okay. So when you're in your web browser and you tell it to print, it won't let you. What kind, is this all websites or just some websites? All right. One of the things that people don't realize is that more and more of the commercial websites now, especially news sites, are starting to lock down their information where you can't copy or print, you can't grab that graphic off of it. And they do that through some magic in how they handle frames on their website.
like I bought tickets last night to a ball game that you're supposed to download and it won't let
Okay.
you print them.
So when you go to your file menu and you select print,
It will say, okay, and it will preview, but if you look at preview,
yeah,
there's nothing there, and if you click print, nothing happens. The printer doesn't get the message.
okay, and you do have a printer selected already.
It used to work, and then all of a sudden it didn't, so I did something.
Okay, at the break, take a look at it. Okay. Bill. Okay, clear. I'm losing control here. I'm getting nervous. Okay, let me do Ray. Yes, Ray.
You want to tell them about the extremely frustrating but simple solution to the elements problem? Or do you want me to do it?
I'd rather you did it because I don't remember what it was.
Well, if anyone uses Photoshop Elements, I had a situation where there's a eraser tool, a little block or a little button or something on the screen and you erase. But what happened is the size of what got erased was much smaller than the tool, so you couldn't be very accurate on erasing around something or making it move. And I fussed with this for a month or more. I had my son-in-law, who's a software engineer, he even came to the house helping me. Bill tried for a long time. But Richard, my son-in-law, was over, and he said, I got to figure this thing out. This makes no sense. In your user account, it doesn't work properly. In your admin and another Goofy account, it works fine. So the problem is in...
It's account-based.
Please?
It's an account-based problem.
Account-based problem. So when they had me resetting things and eliminating, I even wound up erasing or deleting the program, putting it back in, and he was done. He said, "I give up. This just doesn't make sense. We've done everything possible." And he shut down everything. He was looking at the screen. He says, "That looks funny." Goes up to preferences, goes into the mouse thing, and sees that I had enlarged the cursor so that I could see it better. And it affected the eraser tool. Once we set it back, everything was perfect. So if you ever have a problem like that, a very innocent move, and I messed myself up for a month.
So if this is a case of where you have a dependency, you have a Finder setting that an Adobe software product is using it's displaying its icons, its little eraser and that sort of thing. And if you want to have the same problem, because Ray's being very good, he's not saying it was my fault, because I showed him how to enlarge his cursor. You'll notice that my little arrow up there is pretty big right now. Okay, the way you do that is you go to your system preferences, you click on universal access, you click on mouse and trackpad, and this is where we can control the size of that pointer. And yeah, I know I'm being bad. I just want to make sure we have a help desk item for next month. Yes?
The problems with Firefox, not Safari.
Yeah.
You can preview in Safari, but can't Firefox.
Preview in Safari, but not Firefox. So she just goes to print.
Goes to print.
So which web browser are you using? Firefox?
I
Firefox.
can
Okay.
use it, but I bookmarks it on.
Okay. So we had, that one actually got a result. So let's do raffle. I can see people looking at their watches. They say, come on, Bill, move it along. Preparing your Mac for donation, recycle, or sale. In other words, you've got an older computer and you're going to get rid of it. You have questions, contact information for me. And then presentation and reference materials are available on request. So I've got some additional stuff that I've saved out. Okay, what are we going to cover? Personal computer recycling programs. There, I'm not talking about computer applications, I'm talking about company programs. And then we're going to walk through the process. Gathering cables, data transfer, deauthorizing, reformatting, reinstalling. Okay, so personal computer recycling programs. First, why recycle? In other words, why aren't you just throwing this in the dumpster?
For our grandkids.
Okay, we're donating. If we recycle, you're going to be saving energy, resources, and money. If you recycle 1,000 computers, that saves enough energy to power 14 homes for a year. This would be the energy that's required to create those 1,000 computers. Greenhouse gas emissions, removing equivalent 5 passenger cars off the road for a year, or it's the equivalent of recycling 89 refrigerators in terms of plastics, glass, all that kind of stuff. Last but not least, it's the law. All of this stuff, they call it e-waste. You know, we have email. E-waste is electronic waste. There's toxic chemicals involved in producing this stuff. Especially if you're talking about your older CRT monitors and that. There's about 4 pounds of lead in every CRT monitor. So we don't want to have that stuff just loose in the environment. We want to reuse these materials. It's the proper thing to do. Okay. Now, personal computer recycling. This is for individuals, not for companies. And if you're a federal employee and you want to recycle, you know, government equipment, there's a process and a procedure, and I'd need about 6 hours to explain it to you, with flow charts. So, first one, Apple has a recycling program. So you go to that website and they talk about how you can recycle your stuff, what the conditions are. In some cases, it's free. In some cases, they'll charge you a little bit of money. In some cases, they'll send you a gift card. All right. Goodwill, our local Goodwill, has a recycling program. That's the one that I use. And I favor them because they're getting money from Dell and from Montgomery County Solid Waste District. So when you bring in your e-waste to Goodwill, they're getting money from Dell, money from Montgomery County. They're also providing work for the people who recycle these. They don't just strip them down for the parts. In some cases, they refurb them and put them out for sale, so that's another benefit. You got people on limited incomes that are able to get newer technology through Goodwill. And again,
Any
yeah.
limitations on what they'll take?
Go to their website and they tell you exactly what they'll take. But bottom line, central processing units, so your big box computer, CRTs, mice, external hard drives, I mean, power cords, cell phones.
Specific stores?
Say again?
Specific stores or any store?
You go to their website and they've got the list, and then I have another Word doc I can send you that's the ones that are e-waste sites and their hours of operation.
It's on the website though, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, send me an email because I've got a separate list and it's got all that contact information for them. Because sometimes when I'm at somebody's house and they want me to, help them get rid of it, I don't want to have to drive back down to Centerville where my Goodwill is. I want to go to the local one. So that's why I keep that list with me. In fact,
Could you add that to our web?
here, let me, real quick.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, here's the folder. Here we go. Well, I was working at home. There we go. Take it up to 200%. You guys are up north, right? Englewood. Englewood. Anyway, I've got the file here. If you got a flash drive after the meeting, I don't have. Or I can just email it to you. Email's okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
If not,
And they've got, if you go to this, this one, they've got a spot on their webpage. It brings up a Google map and shows you, you put in where you are and it shows you where their locations are. The other one is Montgomery County Solid Waste District. So if you don't want to go through somebody else, you want to go directly to Montgomery County. You got to be a Montgomery County resident. If they see you showing up too often, they will start to ask for ID and they'll start tracking what you bring in.
Why?
Because if you're a business, you have to pay for the recycling.
Well, you're already paid.
If you're an individual, a taxpayer in Montgomery County, you've already paid for it through your taxes. Okay, so that's why I'm saying personal computer, there we're not talking about PC, we're talking about a person with a computer that's recycling. And then last but not least, the We Recycle cycling program. They're a national outfit, and if you go to their website, they'll give you the specifications of how they, So if you've got some relative that's not in the area or someplace else, you want to help clean out some e-waste, they'll be able to help you with it. They charge about $30 a CPU, if I remember correctly.
Wasn't MacTown over there every once in a while? They have a recycling weekend or something?
My understanding is, the question is, does MacTown have a recycling program? Twice a year they've had Bring In Your Stuff. They were doing it in conjunction with Montgomery County. Montgomery County Solid Waste District brought the dumpster over, and then they'd be putting the stuff in.
Do they check that?
No. The other thing is, any Apple authorized value-added reseller, so that would be Mac Depot or MacTown, if you have Apple batteries or iPods, that kind of stuff, the smaller, they will recycle it free of charge for you. That's part of being Apple authorized. Sometimes people get static when they go down to the Apple store and they're bringing old Apple batteries in and that, but they're supposed to do it also. Okay, so if somebody gives you static about it, just see the store manager, because the floor help, they don't like they have to fill out all the paperwork that they got to do on it. All right, so anyway, step one, gather all the stuff. Okay, so I'm walking you through the process. Decide what hardware and software is going bye-bye. Okay, now think about this. If you're going to take it to a Goodwill, and they may be able to refurb it and resell it, you want to sort of bring it as a package. So if you've got an older CPU and there's a monitor with it, maybe a printer you're not going to use anymore, a modem that you're not going to use anymore, if you have it all in a bundle in a package, it might be easier for them to refurb it, especially if you have the disks and the other things that go with it. So, decide what hardware and software is going bye-bye. So now you got your list. Next, remove external media. Okay, can't tell you how many times I go to refurb an old machine, I fire it up, and there's still a CD in the drive, okay, floppy disk in the floppy drive, or a flash drive stuck in the back. Okay, it happens. Okay, so you want to just do a visual inspection, make sure that any of your external media is no longer connected to the machine. So that would be external disks, CDs, DVDs, USB flash drives. Next, find the cables, the disks, the manuals, all of that clutter that came with it. If you're going to clean house, clean house. And you're being a better citizen because if somebody's able to refurb that machine, if they have the original discs, the cables, the manuals and all that, it makes it easier for them. Next, find the paperwork. So usually you've got a bundle with this stuff, you got paperwork, maybe repair paperwork or receipts from when you purchased it. Just a reminder, going back a couple years, when you bought something with your credit card number would be on the receipt. All right? So you want to make sure that you're removing anything that's identifying you with that machine, because you're cutting your connection to it. So that'd be credit card slips, repair tickets, purchase receipts. And then last but not least, remove all Post-it notes and property stickers. Okay, can't tell you how many times somebody says, here, Bill, find a home for this. And I go, there's a Post-it note on the front. So your AOL email is this and your password is this? Oh, crap, didn't mean to leave that there. Okay, so you want to pull that off. The only ones I get a little nervous about is when you can tell it's their banking account. They're doing online banking and they got the account number and they got their library number and all that other stuff. So just remember that. Remove all Post-it notes and property stickers. Okay, then we come up to data transfer and or backup. Okay, now, you're getting rid of the computer. Part of getting rid of the computer is we're going to wipe that hard drive. But before we wipe the hard drive, we want to make sure that any information that's on the computer that you're going to want, you have a copy someplace else. So, example of stuff that you might find. Ignore the programs for a minute. Let's say that this is a machine that you've been using up until just now. Well, you may have all of these website favorites that you've saved. Or you might have a keychain remembering logins for various accounts. And you don't remember what it is anymore, but the machine does. So what people normally do, if this is the old machine and they bought a new machine and they're replacing it, they'll use a program called Migration Assistant. Migration Assistant will take your user account and applications that are on the old machine and move them onto the new machine. That's going to move all of your bookmarks, all of that stuff. The other thing that is always good to have is a time machine backup of it. Then you can always go back if you needed to, a couple months later you go, oh, there was that photo on the other machine. I don't have the machine anymore. You could still get it from your time machine backup. But it means you're going to have to restore that account onto a current Mac. In terms of other programs for making backups, Carbon Copy Cloner and Super Duper, they do very nice jobs. I myself prefer to stay with the Time Machine backup and then the Migration Assistant. Yes, Rick?
Can you access a Time Machine backup for a different machine?
Is one of the features of Time Machine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your laptop got stolen.
Mm-hmm.
You have a new laptop.
Yeah.
You can put your user account on the new laptop from the Time Machine
Right.
backup.
I'm just saying, my wife's laptop got stolen. We haven't gotten it yet, but I need to go get a file of hers without my machine thinking, oh, Time Machine.
Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to do a restore. Typically what I would do, now you have access to a little more equipment than most of the members.
Yeah.
You put an external hard drive on the current Mac. You do your restore to the external hard drive so that you're not messing up with your machine, but you've got that image on the external hard
So I
drive.
can't use it as an access window just to go get a file that she did 3 months ago.
No, because it's a security thing that it's linked to a
Okay.
particular machine.
So in that regard, the Carbon Copy Cloner or Super Duper would be
Right, might be a better way to go.
more accessible.
Yeah. The other thing is, okay, if you're going to do a clone, Carbon Copy Cloner will pull some of those with third-party applications. I'm thinking of Adobe, where they hide the authentication stuff all over the place. I've never had a Carbon Copy Cloner restored that didn't appropriately bring all of that application serialization back in. I have had instances where Time Machine, for whatever reason, didn't get everything. Because they've hidden it in some other partition that, I didn't know was there.
Carbon Copy Cloner is excellent. Just take, you've got your old computer, just put it back on the new one.
Yeah.
Just right off the Carbon Copy Cloner.
Yeah.
Okay. Since a lot of people have never used Migration Assistant, I just wanted to bring up what a Migration Assistant screen looks like. And again, this program was first put into the OS X in Tiger, so Tiger, Leopard, Snow Leopard, you've got Migration Assistant. It's going to ask you what you want to transfer. And you can transfer either over the network, or if they're cabled together with FireWire, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. But it's going to move entire user folders, it'll move applications, network and machine settings, files, and volumes. So if somebody has saved stuff, user stuff at the root level of the hard drive, which is a no-no, okay, you see it all the time with Mac OS 9 machines that also have Mac OS 10 on it. Migration Assistant will move that stuff over. And you can pick which user account you want to move over. You don't have to do them all. So that's a very, very good tool. And you would use that to move the user account from the old machine to a newer machine. Okay. So now we're at the stage where we've collected all this stuff. We've made sure that we've got a copy of all the data that's on the old machine that we want to keep. So, deauthorizing iTunes. This is something that people forget. iTunes, your purchased items, television shows, movies, music, all that kind of stuff. There's a link to what computer is allowed to play that stuff. And you can authorize your purchases on up to 5 machines. So now you're doing this for yourself, you're not worried that the person who gets the computer is going to look at your music and that, because we're going to wipe that away. But what you're concerned about is you're using one of the 5 slots that you've got on iTunes. One of the 5 devices you can authorize. So what Apple says on it is iTunes authorization. This is how you manage what computers can play your music, audiobooks, other content. You can use, let's see, you can only use your digital rights management protected music purchases on up to 5 computers, and when you play an item you purchased, your computer is authorized to play content. All right, so you want to deauthorize that old computer. How do you do that? Yes?
Am I correct in saying, you may govern this, if you do forget, the only way that you can deauthorize that computer then is you have to deauthorize all 5 computers and then go back and authorize the individual ones that you want?
Yeah, and it didn't used to be that way. It used to be that you'd have to somehow get a hold of an administrator of Apple iTunes and convince them that you'd made a mistake. And they would interrogate you. Okay? So it used to be, if you didn't do this, that computer, now that you've lost physical possession of it, is always authorized. So there is a way around it, but it's still okay. So how do you do that? You launch iTunes on the computer. From the iTunes menu, you go to the Store menu, and you select Deauthorize Computer. And then it's going to come up with your authentication information, where you got to put in your iTunes Store ID and your password. And you click the Deauthorize button.
You just go to the store first.
You're in
Click store.
iTunes.
iTunes and click store.
No, you're in iTunes, you go to your menu bar.
Menu bar.
There's a store menu, and in there you select Deauthorize. And this window comes up. You either put in your Apple ID or your iTunes AOL, if you've got AOL linked to your iTunes. Okay?
Quick question.
Sure, Ray.
I've only owned 2 Macs in my life, but Apple or iTunes probably thinks I own 5 because of system boards being replaced and serial numbers or whatever not going with them.
Mm-hmm.
Would my solution to make it think that I only have 2 is to wipe it clean and reauthor it like you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when you deauthorize all of them, do you remember what the process is on that, Mark?
You have to go back and just reauthorize each one.
Right.
Individually.
After deauthorize
Yeah, but
all
how
of
do you
them.
do the deauthorization if you no longer have
I think it's in iTunes.
You could deauthorize a machine that, if you're not even using that machine, you could deauthorize every machine that's been authorized, so long as you're signed in with your Apple ID and
Okay,
password.
so you got to be signed in with
You've
the...
got, yeah, you've got to have,
Okay.
access to that. Then you can deauthorize everything, and then go back and reauthorize individual computers, up to 5, I think.
Okay.
Is the reauthorization in the same area?
Yeah,
The
you go to
iTunes
store and authorize this computer instead of deauthorize.
It's the standard Apple thing where, where you can, the same place you go to tell it to hide something is where you tell it to show something.
Okay.
It wouldn't affect what you've already got from iTunes. If you deauthorize them all, and then go back.
Yeah, then you can reauthorize any purchased music or TV shows or whatever else is in there.
Okay?
And that really sticks with the hardware too.
Yeah, and I should have hit this slide before we started. Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you can only do that like once a year. Deauthorize
There
all
are
of them.
limitations on it, yeah. Go ahead.
Are you, in your presentation, before I asked the question, you're going to be discussing drive enclosures, and if you want to keep the drives out of your computers? Okay.
I'm just doing the bare bones. Reformatting the hard drive. Okay. The preferred method is, remember when you gathered all that stuff? You found the OS X install disk that came with the computer, or the OS 9 install disk that came with the computer. The preferred method is you're going to boot from that disk, and you're going to run disk utility from that disk, and we're going to handle all the stuff going from there. If you don't have the original disk that came with the computer, okay, any Apple OS install disk with a version of the operating system that's appropriate for that computer. So if you've got a Power Mac, made 2004, it's not going to boot from an OS 9 Apple installation disk. It will boot from a Leopard or Snow Leopard, in some cases a Tiger disk. So it's really much better if you find that stuff, you find that original disk and keep that original
Certain
disk.
disks, even within the same Mac OS, they're specific to those machines.
Correct.
Yeah. So you can't use a MacBook on a Mac or a Mini
Correct.
or something like that.
Correct. And you're going to know what you've got because it's going to say the type of form factor. So this particular disk is from a MacBook and it's OS X installed disk 1, and there'll usually be a second disk. Because we're not just going to use this to wipe the machine, we're then going to use it to put an operating system back on it and the default application load.
Are you going to speak to the steps then when you stick this disc in?
Yeah. Okay, so you got this disk in there. Yeah, go
Are you
ahead.
answering his question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he said, am I going to go through the steps? I said, yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone gave me a disc, I won't name any names, with the operating system in for the one before Snow Leopard. Can that be used as a?
Yes, that is what's called a retail OS installation disk. So it's not specific to a particular form factor. It can be used on a variety of different models of Mac.
Okay. It'll take it right back up to what the one before Snow Leopard.
Right. The thing it won't do is install some of the, okay, with certain models of Macintoshes, they put other little goodies, some software on it, because they had an arrangement with Intuit that they put a copy of Quicken on. The retail OS installed disk is not going to put those other little goodies on. And usually it's better. If it's going to be, you think the machine's going to be sellable for whoever's got it, or you want it to be usable for it, you want to try and give them as much as you
And
can.
it wouldn't put 9 back on there then?
No. Okay.
Depending on the unit too, it'll come with iTunes or not.
Right. Okay. If you've got a Snow Leopard install CD, you're going to see a button that says Utilities on that first window. You'd click there to get to Disk Utility. If you've got one of the older disks, you're going to tell it to install, and then from the menu bar, you're going to find Disk Utility. Either way, you want to have Disk Utility running.
And the one above is how you get to a machine you don't know the password of anymore.
Well, see, but that's the thing. We're
You're right,
booted.
you're right.
We're booted from the DVD or compact disc. We're not booting from the hard drive where all the password stuff is.
Right, but if you wanted to get into the hard drive but didn't know the password anymore.
Oh, you're talking about the reset password utility? Yeah. Well, see, I don't tell people about that because I get free lunches if I come reset the password. And if they know where the reset password is, so forget that you saw that.
That's right.
Nothing.
You know nothing.
Okay, so what we've done right now is we've booted the machine from that, either the original disk that came with it or from an OS installation disk. Once it's booted from that disk, the way you do that is typically you restart the machine, hold down the C key. All right, once it's booted from that disk, we're then telling it that we want to not install the OS yet, we want to run Disk Utility. So here we're in Disk Utility. In the sidebar, for us to be able to do this process, we're going to do two things. We're going to partition a hard drive, and then we're going to erase the hard drive. Okay, this is Bill being paranoid. So, to find partition, normally your tabs up there where it says First Aid, Erase, Partition, those will change depending on what you're clicking on the sidebar. So you're going to look for, in this case I'm clicking on an external hard drive, but you would click on the thing that says like 320 gigabyte Hitachi. That's the internal hard drive that was running that Macintosh HD. This is the name of the partition that's on that physical device. So you want to click on the physical device. It'll then show you a partition tab. So you want to click on partition. In here you would select one partition. It's going to rename it Untitled 1, and then you're going to click Apply. So, partitioning. Partitioning. Think of your hard drive as being a football. Okay? Football fields are not just a piece of ground. You've got grass, but you also have goalposts, and you have all these lines that the groundskeeper has put on it to mark off the yardage and such. You've got your, your outer borders so you can tell when they're out of bounds. That applied to an electronic storage device would be called partitioning. You're laying everything out, putting an organization on it. So if we repartition it, we're taking that organizational structure that's virtual, that's on the physical device, and we're removing it and putting a new one down. So it'd be like going onto that football field and kicking all those chalk marks off, erasing them, and then putting new ones down. Okay.
You are showing an external drive select.
Right. Right now I have an external set. Well, that's because I was doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I said to myself, Bill, you don't want to partition your real hard drive. Okay.
So pretend that says the Macintosh.
Right.
hard
Pretend
drive.
that we're clicking on where it says 320 GB. Okay. So then you would click Apply, and it's going to throw all the stuff that's on that hard drive away and lay down a new partition. So that's step 1. Then we come to the second step. Go ahead.
Even though you had previously maybe 2 or 3 partitions, it throws all the partitions away?
No, it's only going to create a new partition for the thing that you have selected.
I mean, say the one you selected had several partitions on it.
Yeah,
You
they'll
had
blow them
Windows
away.
on there
Yeah.
in the OSX.
Yeah, so if you had a hard drive and you had 4 partitions on it, and you tell it, hey, rewrite it with only 1.
That's what setting to 1 means.
Yeah.
It gets rid of all of it and lets 1 in.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, Peter?
Does it just change the directory, or does it actually write over the whole disk? That would take a long time.
What it does is it takes the boot blocks, if you will, of that hard drive, and it messes around with them. We're going to make it as difficult as possible for somebody to recover data, but we're not done. All right, so after we do the partition, and partition it does quickly.
And then you just put a name in there?
Oh, I just leave it untitled. Okay.
So what's the other, if that's one petition, what's the other petition?
Okay.
There's only one partition.
If I had clicked Apply on that button for real, it would take this external hard drive that currently has the name MyBook F32, all right, which is a Windows hard drive that's formatted FAT32, and it would reformat it with 1 partition that would be called Untitled 1, and it would partition it as an OSX hard drive. So it would change the format of it too.
Extended journal.
But it wouldn't touch the top one, it wouldn't touch the...
No, because this one it wouldn't touch. It would make this part the MyBook 32. That's the partition. That's the physical device. It would make this thing disappear and create a new partition. Okay, so next step is, now that we've got a new partition, because we're paranoid, we're now going to erase the hard drive that we just partitioned. So, now in this case, it was getting to be about 5 o'clock in the morning. I was feeling a little more confident. I had had some coffee. So you see I'm clicking on my actual boot drive. So you would click on the partition this time. Not the physical device, but the thing that, the partition that's on it. And you click on your Erase tab. And it starts to give you some choices. Okay? One of which is erase free space, but that's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is click where it says security options.
You can't do it because that's your startup.
Correct.
So it won't let you stick.
That's right. So now I've clicked on security options. These are the choices you have. 1, just zero out deleted files. Okay. Now since I repartitioned everything that was on it is in effect a deleted file. Or I can have it go over 7 times. where it'll write over the files 7 times. And each time it writes over, it uses a different pattern of data. Or I can do what a secure trash does, which is 35 times it'll pass over the files, writing over the the deleted files. That takes a long time.
But if you did all this, you know, the movies where they show the guy they've erased all the information, but then they go back and some expert picks some of it up, then you're pretty sure they're not going to be able to clean anything off of it.
Okay, goes like this. There's this concept I've learned to live with. It's called good enough. Okay? What's good enough for my personal data? Are the boffins of the Puzzle Palace over at Fort Meade still going to be able to get into stuff? Maybe. Okay. Would the FBI be able to get into it? I don't think so. Not with a 35 pass. Would the Dayton Police Department be able to get in there? No. Okay. Would somebody with a copy of, I'm trying to think of a good data recovery program.
Data rescue.
Data rescue. If I've done a 35 pass, it's not going to be able to recover data. If I did a zero out deleted files, it might be able to recover some of it, but not with a 35 pass. That means 35 times it has written a different type of data on top of those files. Yeah, they're not going to be able to get
What
it.
about the 7 times? You wouldn't write 7 times?
I guess my question is,
Yeah.
you know, is zeroing good enough to prevent anyone that could do anything through the interface? I'm not talking about taking the top off, special electronics, or anything like that.
One pass,
It seems
yeah.
like a one pass zero.
One pass is good enough.
For anyone that doesn't have a lab.
Commercial, you know, if you got business data on it, 7. I do 7. If you've got government data, this is what the federal government requires when they're disposing of equipment, when they remember.
Yeah, you know, let it run for data.
You take them in the store.
Yeah. Now, we're not done. Yep.
I got a feeling that if this drive goes to Goodwill and somebody with Unix background picks it up, they've got enough
Not if it's
information.
overwritten 35
No,
times.
35, but 7 times, probably not. But if you do it just 0, there's probably enough people around with Unix experience that
Well,
they would.
let me ask
How do you
somebody
tell
who
the
might have an
Drive
answer to that
Electronics
question.
to read
Ralph,
the
what do
free
you think?
Statistically, to shuffle a deck of cards, you only have to shuffle them 7 to 8 times, and significantly randomized at your deck of cards. So 35 times would be enough.
That 7 pass ought to be more than that.
Yeah.
My question is, what command do you give a hard drive to read residue? Because you're telling it to read noise, basically, because the legitimate signal there is all zeros now.
Yeah.
No, it's not all zeros.
Well,
There's a retention, there's a magnetic retention that stays there.
Sure, but what it's reading, or should be reading, is zeros. Yeah. Well, it's
I'm going to bring it back to the concept of good enough. All right? There's other things you can do, and Ron Decker was nice enough to bring in some hard drives, and I'll show you what they can do. Where we talk about hard drives and how you can physically damage them so that they can't be read. And so Ron was very nice to bring in some hard drives. You'll notice that here's a hard drive, and it's been punched, but when they punched it, they didn't hit the platters. These round plates, that's where the data is actually resides. So we're going to pan these through, one on each cable. The lids on these are loose. Be careful, he's got his kids' pictures on. But you get to see what the inside of a hard drive looks like. If you really want to be sure, what you do is you disassemble the hard drive, you take the platters out, and you start putting holes in it.
You can sand it.
And sand it. And acid bath.
Then the geeks at NSA
Okay.
can get it.
So, what have we done so far? We've partitioned the hard drive, and now we've erased it. Now that we've done that, we're going to reinstall the operating system and the programs that come with it. So we were inside disk utility running from that OSX install disk. Okay? So now that we've completed, we quit disk utility. In the case of Snow Leopard, we're back at our install window. And we click continue. And now it's going to walk us through the process of installing a new operating system on this partition that's been erased. And part of that process, so you know what it does, you can tell it to do it fresh, which is what I usually do, so in which case it'll wipe and partition it again. It'll put on a fresh operating system, and then it's going to put on the fresh default application load. If it's the disk that came with the computer, it'll put on the stuff that Apple originally bundled with that computer. If it's just an OSX install disk, it's going to put on the operating system and the basic font load from Apple, which would be iLife and those sorts of things. Yeah, go ahead.
You said there's no stupid question. Why, after you've erased everything, do you really need to know what's back on?
Because we're hoping that the
Somebody
recycling
else will
center
use it.
may be able to resell it to somebody.
That's for that reason.
Okay. And we're being nice to the guys that are going to, guys and gals that are vetting this equipment. Okay. If there's an operating system on it, they plug it in, they boot it up, and they go, oh, this is one that works. Oh, how much RAM has it got? What's it? Okay. That's why.
That's what I figured.
Still miss.
They missed the disc. Take the lid off first.
Okay, how far back do you want me to back up?
Just that one.
Okay. So we're making it so that it's a usable computer again. Okay. Any questions? I think I got those under. Okay, now. I was waiting for Elton to ask me this one. Elton is usually, he's my reality check.
What was I gonna
appreciate
ask?
you, man. What if your Mac is dead and you can't do any of this stuff? Okay. If
Buy
your
a new
Mac is dead and you can't, it doesn't boot.
He calls me.
It's a computer, but it doesn't work at all. It doesn't boot.
Oh,
You know, there's no lights on and there's nobody at home. Okay. Well, you've got data that may still be on those hard drives. Well, then, doing a hard drive partition and erase is not going to be easy. You're going to have to somehow take that hard drive out of that computer and hook it up to another computer if you want to do a partition and erase. Or, what I usually do is I remove the hard drive and I destroy it, one way or the other.
One thing, if you want to keep your hard drive, there are many drive enclosures you can buy, ranging from, I saw on sale, $5.99 for the 2.5 inch. That's a large drive enclosure. Micro Center sells them. Every time I upgrade a computer at work, I take the hard drive out, I put it in a little cheap enclosure, and I've got a 40 or 60 or 80 or a 250 gig external hard drive that you can reuse for saving data if you're just going to trash the computer. So you can reuse those hard drives if the hard drive is working.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a
And
hard
if
drive
it's
problem,
big enough to make it useful.
make it worth, some people, can use a 40 or an 80 or 60 gig hard drive, and in some cases I've removed 250, gone to 500. So they make good external drives.
Now, the hard drives that are wending their way through the audience, you've got the side that's got the metal cover on the top, and you flip it over and there's a circuit board there. One of the things I see people do is they remove that circuit board and they figure the data is not going to be recoverable. Okay, well the way you get around that is you look at the make and model of the hard drive, and then you get the appropriate circuit board and hook it up, and then you're able to get to the data. So just removing the circuit board from the bottom of the hard drive is not going to make it unusable if someone is technically sophisticated. If you really want to do a job on it, you disassemble it, you take out the platters, you punch holes in them, you dip it in acid.
Hit them with a hammer till they break.
Huh?
Hit them with a hammer till they break.
Take it to the foundry and melt it.
Bill,
Yeah,
those discs were punched while they were still in the drive. and
Yeah.
You can see they actually hit the discs.
yeah.
A couple of the drives that are being passed around, somebody pounded a nail through them.
Right.
But they missed the disc.
Yeah.
And the object is to make the disc so you can't use it.
Do you not throw those discs away either? Is there stuff in there that's bad for the environment?
Here you're talking about a metal platter, and it has a coating of ferric oxide on it. So it's basically the same stuff you have on your old cassette tapes, except instead of being on flexible plastic, it's on a platter. And I do stuff like, I drill holes in them, have them be,
Make
scarecrows
wind
in the garden.
Are they bad for the environment? Did you pitch them?
Yeah, these are okay.
Drive electronics.
They're okay?
Yeah, it's mainly your circuit boards that have the bad stuff that you want to really be careful.
And also some precious metals that you recover.
Yeah. Oh, just some gold.
Yeah,
Just some gold. And, it's.
You
So,
scratched
I'll
one.
do the same. I've got maybe 4 or 5 of these I can answer the last few questions. Richard,
There's also some nice little devices you can get, like that are a little USB device that plugs in USB and then plugs directly to a hard drive. So if you need to get into a hard drive that's either physically in a computer, Mac or PC, and either recover data from it or erase it, you can do it without needing the computer. So they're very handy things.